If you want to be a part of the conversation before it happens here on YouTube, click that link in the description to join the free Courtside Financial Discord. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Weekend Recap on the Courtside Financial Podcast, a segment where we bring you a compilation of everything that went down throughout the week from a stories perspective. Before we get into this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and click the notification bell icon so you don't miss out on any content that's coming in the future. Our first slam dunk story comes from NIO, who's set to hike the cost of battery upgrades during the Chinese New Year travel rush. Get this, folks, they're raising it by a whopping 76%. Now, this will be from February 1st to February 17th, so right around the corner here. And NIO owners who are aiming to boost their battery packs will see the daily upgrade cost surge from 50 RMB to 88 RMB. That's quite the power play on NIO's behalf, and it makes sense. Supply and demand, right? But here's the catch. Due to resource constraints, NIO recommends placing your order in advance. And guess what? If you order for a monthly upgrade between January 15th and January 31st, you just might hit the jackpot. There could be a bonus between 28.8 RMB and 888.8 RMB. In our next report here, NIO's gearing up for the delivery of its 2024 models in March. With China's EV market being under fierce competition, NIO's not holding back. They've even started discounts on their current models. Talk about playing hardball. It seems like everyone in the EV game is throwing punches. Li Auto is offering discounts on their 2023 models, and even the mighty Tesla. That's right, Tesla dropped prices of its Model 3 and its Model Y. It's a pricing showdown, and NIO stepping into the ring. Topic number 3, some pretty breaking news here in the NIO universe. The Alps sub-brand is shaking things up by adopting a pure vision solution similar to Tesla's for its smart driving system. And here's the twist, they're ditching LiDAR. That's like changing lanes without a signal. Alps' first car set to rival Tesla's Model Y will start between 200,000 RMB and 250,000 RMB. With NIO's smart driving system taking multiple routes on the NT 3.0 platform, it's clear that they're paving the way for innovation. Closing out our show, NIO's making headlines for discounts of $5,560 on current models, and there's no specific deadline until the 2023 models are sold out. Well, that marks the grand finale for today's episode. Our first story revolves around NIO's innovative approach in response to the Chinese New Year travel. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, NIO, the innovative electric vehicle company based out of China, has rolled out a program that allows that's enticing vehicle owners with 100 kilowatt hour battery packs to switch out to the 70 to 75 kilowatt hour battery packs. Now, this is a temporary switch, of course, at their swap stations, but the timing is impeccable considering the Chinese New Year rush, with the holiday being from February 10th to February 17th. NIO's decision to offer bonus points between January 20th and February 20th adds an intriguing and exciting element to the mix. But why now? Let's break it down. With the lunar year prompting a surge in travel, NIO's capitalizing on this peak period. Owners participating in this program not only receive financial incentives, but they also contribute to NIO's ability to manage peak demand. It's a strategic move aligning with the needs of both owners and the company. So what's my take on it? NIO's move is pretty astute. By encouraging battery swaps during the travel-heavy season, they're not only engaging their existing customers, but they're also creating a buzz around their brand, which will tie into our next topic that we're going to get into. But for now, let's stick on this one. It's a well-timed strategy that clearly aligns with the market dynamics. And it's nice to see how NIO is using their incentives to drive consumer behavior. NIO seems to be setting the stage for a win-win situation, but now let's get on to the next topic. NIO's once again in the spotlight, but this time for a viral video that's been creating quite the stir. The animated video titled "Being a Good Agent Starts with Choosing a Good Car." It's a creative showcase of the ES8's features. This video was created by the NIO user known as Shiba Kungs. It takes a humorous approach featuring a rooster in James Bond attire, facing challenges with other vehicles before being offered an ES8. The car that he's looking for is going to serve as something that he's going to be using for an emergency mission. It's an interesting departure from traditional marketing. Let's dissect this approach. NIO's decision not to launch new models this year might have raised questions about their visibility, of course. However, this viral video solidifies their commitment to still remaining in the spotlight. And it doesn't have to be done through traditional means, they're obviously doing it through unconventional means. So what's my take on this? NIO is clearly navigating the challenges of staying in the spotlight and maintaining visibility without launching new models by doing it through humor and creativity. This video not only showcases the vehicle's features, but also creates a memorable and entertaining moment for viewers. It's a departure from the norm in a world where our attention spans are so short. It seems to me like this approach was and can be quite effective moving forward, given the fact that it's gone viral. NIO's ability to leverage unconventional means to achieve certain outcomes is definitely noteworthy. And there you have it, folks, a deep dive into NIO's strategic moves, both of NIO's strategic moves, incentivizing battery swapping and also crafting engaging marketing content. So topic number 1 is NIO issuing a fraud warning. That's right, our first story revolves around NIO, the Chinese EV giant, issuing a fraud warning. It seems like scammers are using the company's name to pull off fraudulent activity, claiming that the company has entered the gaming industry. NIO has vehemently denied these claims and has reported all of these instances to the police. The company is standing on the statement that they are not involved in the gambling industry at all. According to a statement released on the NIO app, fake documents are circulating on social media. They're promising users large daily returns if they invest. But the company again stresses that it's never been involved in the gaming or lottery industry. and it advises users to be cautious about how they receive information from unknown channels. It's disheartening to see NIO dealing with scams once again, looking back at the previous cryptocurrency scam. This highlights the importance of vigilance in the online space. Investors, be wary. If there's offers that sound too good to be true, odds are they probably are too good to be true. Trust official channels for updates, and remember, due diligence is important in the ever-evolving landscape of technology, finance, and cybersecurity. Topic number 2, Chinese EVs and the US market. Moving on to our second topic, the question arises, can Chinese EVs still enter the US market? The US market has imposed tariffs on Chinese EV imports. This makes it challenging for manufacturers like BYD or NIO to break into the US market. The recent performance of EV-related industries in the US stock market has also been pretty mixed. While Tesla faces a decline, some Chinese companies like BYD are gaining attention globally. Despite obstacles, there are views that China's low-priced EVs might not make their way into the US market. The high tariff restrictions pose a significant obstacle, obviously. However, the competitive advantages of Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers, such as battery production, could be a game changer. As EV sales in the US grow, the space for Chinese EVs could expand. But as always, it's important to monitor the government policies that influence this landscape. So our first topic, we're going to talk about CATL's evolution in the new energy vehicle market. We're going to talk about some of its challenges and some of its opportunities. So CATL, or CATL, a once dominant force, is now experiencing a significant downturn. In the past year, its market value dropped nearly 490 billion yuan. So what's led to this downfall, and how does it stack up against its competitors? So the automotive industry, especially CATL's former partners, are now putting a lot of time, effort, money, and research into self-developed batteries. There's NIO producing their own batteries, and Krypton. These are just a few of the vehicle manufacturers that are competing with CATL, the battery producer. As a leading battery provider, CATL is facing challenges as car companies continue to try and produce their own batteries. The competition here is fierce, and CATL's market presence is at stake. So what we all want to know is, how is CATL adapting to these market changes and putting themselves in a position where they can continue to be the leader? That's a question that remains to be answered. So CATL is not only competing with its older customers or older partners that they used to supply, they're facing global competition. CATL is no longer holding half the market share in the country's new energy vehicle battery industry. So one thing that CATL can do to remain relevant is remember that the world is starting to embrace new energy vehicles as a whole. And for them, that means there's opportunity in going overseas. This is going to be crucial. However, like many Chinese automotive manufacturers, CATL is facing policy challenges when entering countries like the US and Europe. So the CATL era stands at a crossroads right now. Clearly, they're balancing lots of challenges, and they're also balancing lots of opportunity. The question remains to be answered. Will it replicate the leap that they made in 2020? And are we witnessing a new chapter in the company's evolution? Now for our next topic, we're going to unravel the mystery of electric vehicle stocks in the 2024 stock market. So the tale begins with a disappointing start to the year for EV stocks. Even industry giant Tesla has witnessed a decline in its stock price. But amidst the confusion, are there any optimistic voices offering insight? Let's dissect the situation to understand the broader picture. By January 17th, the average stock price of electric vehicle companies has plummeted by 27%, which is a sharp contrast to the S&P 500 index, which only witnessed a 1% decrease. What does this mean for the overall market, and how much value has been wiped out from the electric vehicle sector? Let's dive into the intricacies. Well, traditional automakers are not immune. as they faced a 5% drop on average. I'm talking companies like Ford, General Motors, Stellantis, and Volkswagen. However, Toyota emerges as an exception. They've witnessed a rise in stock price and in market value. Well, what sets Toyota apart? And how are its strategies influencing the broader market? Tesla's strategic move to lower electric vehicle prices in China and the United States has been raising questions. What's the driving force behind this decision, and how's it affecting Tesla's profits? Moreover, the weaker than expected economic growth in China is sending ripples throughout the global stock market. So it's pretty evident, in my opinion, that China's economic data is crucial for electric vehicle stocks. If we want to connect the dots here, the slowdown in electric vehicle growth finds its root in factors like market saturation and penetration of existing cars. Analysts project a shift in the percentage of new cars sold as electric vehicles. With Tesla's price cuts, growing competition, and slower growth, the electric vehicle market is entering a phase of intense competition. Will the current challenges pave the way for new opportunity, or are we in a prolonged slump here? Now to our final topic of the day, the import car market for China is under pressure. The past 12 months have seen relentless price war in the automotive sector, and the import car market is no exception. Numerous imported models are seeing plenty of price cuts, with brands like Lexus and Porsche being substantial. These are unprecedented. But what's the larger story behind this? How are these price cuts impacting the market is what we want to find out as the story goes on. According to the China Automobile Dealers Association, car imports witnessed an 11.6% year-over-year decline. They hit a 10-year low with 719,000 vehicles imported from January to November 2023. Luxury brands, although still dominating the market, faced a 2.16% year-over-year decrease. In the midst of market declines, homegrown luxury brands are experiencing, or making, I should say, some significant strides. Companies like BYD and NIO are venturing into the high-end markets. They're challenging the traditional dominance of older luxury brands. And so how are these domestic players disrupting the market? Simply through technology being able to give the consumer more is my thought on it. Like I said earlier, brands like Lexus and Volvo are offering significant discounts on their models to be able to compete. This is what we call a price war. Price war is not just hitting the EV industry, it's hitting the entire automotive industry. And so the rise of independent brands like BYD and NIO are a market force that's reshaping the entire automotive industry, even outside of electric vehicles. Companies like NIO are introducing flagship models that compete with international brands in terms of performance and features. Anyways, as we wrap up this episode, it's clear that traditional dynamics are undergoing a pretty seismic shift. There's a tussle between imported luxury brands and domestic contenders. High-end independent brands are reshaping the automotive industry right now. So stay tuned as we continue to navigate the twists and turns and bring you the news or the voice of what's going on in the market. Anyways, thanks for joining for this pretty in-depth episode of the Chinese automotive market. Now let's get into the news. According to the latest data from the General Administration of Customs, China's automobile exports in 2023 exceeded 5.2 million units, marking a jaw-dropping 57.4% increase year over year. And here's the kicker: electric vehicles accounted for a staggering 1/3 of these exports. So what's my take on this unexpected surge in China's automobile exports, especially with the surge in electric vehicles? It's a seismic shift. China's rapid development in the automobile industry, coupled with their cutting-edge new energy vehicle technology, has truly propelled them to the top. The data speaks for itself, and it's clear that traditional car companies are leading the change. Pretty fascinating, but let's talk about the most valuable players in this game, the traditional car companies. There's SAIC, Changan, Great Wall, and Geely. They're all setting records with their overseas sales. SAIC's MG4 even claimed the compact pure electric vehicle sales crown in Europe. What's driving this success? It's a blend of overseas expansion and technological prowess. SAIC, for instance, is a leader in its brand globally. They're having outstanding overseas sales. Chery, which is labeled as the science engineering man, saw a remarkable 101.1 year-over-year increase in exports. The growth of these traditional giants is clearly shaping the automotive landscape. It's not just about shipping cars, it's about establishing presence overseas. Traditional car companies are investing, acquiring, and building factories. There's BYD's first overseas joint venture in Uzbekistan, Great Walls spread across Thailand, Malaysia, and Brazil, and much more. These companies are transforming from mere exporters to global players. So how do I see this globalization impacting the perception of China's automotive industry? It's clearly a game changer. As Chinese companies solidify their overseas operations, they're not just exporting, they're contributing to the global understanding of China's automotive capabilities. Their impact extends far beyond just sales numbers. It's about influence and recognition on a global scale as well. Now let's shift gears here and talk about the underdogs, the new power car companies. While they might not boast the export numbers of their traditional counterparts, companies like NIO, Li Auto, XPeng, they're all making waves in the international markets. So let's talk about my perspective on their overseas ventures. These new forces might not have the numbers yet, but their courage to enter the overseas markets early on is commendable. XPeng's moves in Norway, NIO's foray into Europe, and the plans for Germany showcase their determination. The challenge is for them to learn from the big players, improve their technology, and leverage their marketing prowess to remain competitive and be able to invest in rapid development. And speaking of showcasing, Chinese new car companies stole the spotlight at the 2023 Munich Auto Show. Nearly 50 Chinese car companies made up 7.4% of the total exhibitors. There's obviously an international stage presence here for Chinese new car companies. And it's a strategic move. These companies understand the power of perception. By being major players at these auto shows, they're not just showcasing their products, they're showcasing China's prowess in electrification technologies. It's a smart marketing move. Finally, as we acknowledge China's rise to the top, here's some advice that I have for traditional automakers and for new automakers. Unity is probably going to be key. Sticking together. Traditional car companies should learn from the Japanese model of collaboration. The Toyota Alliance has proven to be very successful, emphasizing shared knowledge and reduced costs and accelerated development. So for both traditional automakers and new automakers, it's important to realize that a price war is not a long-term strategy. Focus on winning consumers through other means: technical value, service excellence, and reliability. So back in 2016, Tesla did something really amazing with their batteries, which is what they call C2C, cell to chassis. It's like giving a battery a front row seat in the car structure. Who knew this move would become a hot topic, especially for one of our favorite companies, NIO? So why is everyone talking about cell to chassis right now? Well, the traditional ways of setting up batteries like module to pack had a problem. They weren't using the space most efficiently. Imagine having all this potential, but you're only using 40% of it. Enter CTC, aiming to use the space better, make batteries more efficient, meaning they last longer, and of course cut cost. A company named NESA's CTO, Zhang Yang, offered his 2 cents. CTC is cool for saving companies money, but they don't do much for the users. So on the strength of what he said, let's dive into what CTC can actually mean for the industry. CTC is basically like giving the battery a VIP pass. It's either tucked into the chassis or it's connected to the car's structure. Lei Pao's model, the CL1 for example, used this technology to increase its body space, boost car capacity, and extend battery life. It's like a power-up for all electric cars. But wait, there's more options here. There's CTP and CTB. These are all just different routes to the same cool destination. They're all about simplifying battery structure and making things more efficient. It's like giving the battery a makeover. This kind of thing you can think about as like a glow up. Now let's talk real talk. Is CTC the end all be all for batteries? Well, not exactly. While it's a big deal now, history tells us that materials are also going to play a huge role. So we're still on the lookout for the next battery material breakout, and that could even take us further. But you know how it is, every superhero has their kryptonite. CTC even has its own limits. Some worry about battery replacement and higher maintenance costs. It's like if your car hugs a tree too hard, the battery might need a replacement. And that could of course boost the cost even more. Also, things are shaking up in the competition game. Car companies and battery manufacturers, as we discussed on this channel, are definitely stepping on each other's toes right now, especially with CTC and CTP. It's like a friendly rivalry, but it could change the game for all the battery pack companies out there. To sum it up, while we wait for the next battery breakthrough, CTC and its peers are running the game. And guess what? Chinese car companies like NIO are owning the game in both materials and structure. No more playing catch up. They're trailblazers now. Thanks for tuning in to another insightful episode of the Courtside Financial Podcast. If you found this entertaining, interesting, or insightful, make sure you leave a comment down below. I would love to know what you guys think about the battery industry moving forward and how that's going to affect NIO. So let's unpack this enigma together. Just days into 2024, China announced a groundbreaking discovery, the Murong Lithium mine in Sichuan, boasting nearly 1 million tons of lithium resources, making it the largest single lithium mine ever in Asia. Wang Guangha, Minister of Natural Resources, hailed this as a major breakthrough for China's lithium ambitions. Shenzhen Lithium Energy, with a stake in the Murong mine, saw a surge in share prices, hitting the daily limit and closing at 23.41 yuan, a 5.59% increase. China's new energy industry has been thriving, with over 60% of global new energy vehicle sales in 2022, and nearly 70% of lithium battery shipments originating from the country. However, this newfound enthusiasm for prospecting has triggered an unintended consequence, an 80% plunge in lithium prices. As China's lithium production accounts for less than 15% of global production, the nation's dependence on foreign lithium surpasses 60%. The decline in prices has raised concern about the viability of mining, with some approaching their cost lines. Yet Sichuan's challenging mining conditions cast doubts on when the million-ton Murong project can commence. Zhang Xiaoyang, a lithium analyst, points out that while the area is rich in lithium, the slow progress in mineral development makes predicting the supply to market a challenge. Now let's delve into the implications of this story and the nosedive in lithium prices, especially for our audience who is probably a lot of NIO investors out there. The surge in prospecting aligns with China's political push for mineral exploration, emphasizing lithium as a crucial element in the country's economic and security defense. But here's the catch: oversupply. The oversaturation of lithium has sent prices plummeting, raising concerns about the sustainability of mining projects. While the Murong discovery is groundbreaking, the slow development and uncertain timeline for production raise questions about its immediate impact. What's intriguing is the dichotomy between the abundance of lithium resources and the industry's struggle. The recent surge in domestic lithium transactions, like the Jayada mine and the Lijiagu North Lithium mine, reflect the industry's acknowledgement that resources are king. However, the difficulty lies in converting these resources into a consistent, reliable supply to meet the growing demand in the new energy sector. So it's important for NIO investors and enthusiasts to brace themselves for some potential turbulence here. The lithium price freefall, coupled with the industry's reliance on foreign mines, underscores the need for strategic diversification and stable yet secure supply chains. As China continues to navigate the balance between domestic and global projects, the true impact on NIO and its peers remains uncertain. Anyways, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Courtside Financial Podcast. I hope you found this very interesting. I think this is a very important topic to cover. That's going to be it for this episode of Week in Recap for the Courtside Financial Podcast. If you found any of this information valuable, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and definitely leave a comment down below. Genuinely interested in hearing what you guys think about these this new style of videos that we're doing. Anyways, that's going to be it. I'll catch you guys next time.